Okay guys, as you might have guessed, today we're going to try to cut this thing up, and it's going to be dangerous because the way it's laying and wanting to flop, and you can't reach it because it's so high off the ground here. It's not going to be easy. This dead tree fell in the snow last winter. I'm just now getting around to cutting it up, but got to be real careful with this. And because this is so steep, I can't get a piece of equipment up here, you know, like the tractor or the backhoe, to hold it. So I'm going to have to do a lot of studying and be really careful. So I'll show you a little bit further along what happens. Well, I think I've got the most dangerous part done. Boy, you never know when them limbs underneath it's touching the ground, which ones are holding it and which ones ain't. And there's so much rot, it makes it even harder to guess. But now I've got it down to where I really got one more touchy place to do. I think I'm going to cut it right in here probably, and I think these limbs there are going to hold this up on this end. I'm going to have to go up from the bottom so it don't bind on me and pinch my saw. Because like I said, I got no machinery over here that can reach. If I get that bound up, you're talking a jack and pry bars and crap like that to try to get the saw undone. So we don't want that to happen. So stay tuned, we'll show you the next step. Okay guys, I think I got the dangerous part done. Only got a couple more cuts up here right at the fence, and then we can put the fence back the way it's supposed to be, maybe. Got a little more cutting to do. The smaller pieces I can make this, the quicker it'll rot. An interesting note, I counted the rings, and you know, this tree, well, I had an 18-inch bar is all I got on this saw, and it wouldn't go through. So we're in the low 20s there. I don't know if you can see how big them growth rings are, but it was only 47 years old when it died. And I don't remember how many years ago this thing died. It's been a while. But I remember in like 1974, 1975, I had a deer stand. Of course, this wasn't woods back then. This was all open fields. So I guess it's believable. At about 15 feet up, I had a platform. Well, just boards nailed across two limbs that were level with each other. And at that time, it had to be big enough to make, you know, to do that. So apparently, it did all its growing when it was little, when it was young. Because it sure didn't. And the rings bear this out. They're a lot closer together out here at the outside than they were here at the inside. There's a couple of these here in the early years, it grew 1/4 inch a year. So, well, I'll show you the finished product here in a little bit. So just hang tight, y'all. Okay, I've managed to cut this big chunk that was hooked to the fence into thirds and cut it off from the stump. The stump come up some, but now I've got a big hole here in the fence. And the only way I'm going to be able to get this loose is just cut the wire and then try to roll that over where I can cut it loose from the rounds. And then, you know, I brought these way up over my head to go up over this thing. So now I can bring them pieces back down. Let's see what happens. Okay guys, well here's the finished product. I was able to take and cut that wire loose and roll this chunk over and extricate it, then take these 3 pieces of panel loose. I didn't need but 2 of them to put back, drop them back to the ground, wire it together. It ain't pretty, but it'll keep the goats in, and after all, that's what matters in the long run. So another one of them chores down. So thanks for watching guys. If you get a chance, drop back by. I'll leave the gate open for you.